Okay, I want to talk about some philosophy with you today. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
So, my philosophy in life is basically if you go into certain situations where normally you would be angry or sad or even like feel hate, if you would rather go in indifferent, that perhaps you could learn something more from that experience. So, have you ever had an experience where basically you were either really angry or really sad and you kind of shut down and you didn't like get anything out of that experience?
Well, like, one time, like, my friend wanted to go to the movies, and I wasn't really down. The movie seemed kind of lame. So, like, he convinced me to go, but I was pretty angry about it. And I ended up meeting one of his friends, and him and that friend, well, myself and that friend ended up becoming really close friends, so kind of got something out of it, just going.
Exactly. So, like, that's where being indifferent and kind of going with the flow kind of ended up with you gaining something positive from it.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience where my mom like signed up for this like week-long summer camp during like my junior year summer. So, dude, okay, and basically, like I was really upset. Why you do this to me? I was really upset, and I didn't want to go. But when I got there, like I ended up like liking a lot of like the people there. You suck. I ended up like, liking a lot of the people there. And now they're like friends I keep in touch with now. So, essentially, like, if like my philosophy is that if you go in indifferent, things will work out. And if it doesn't, you learn that you just won't do that certain situation ever again. So thank you for your time.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
It's a good chat.
All right. So thank you. I want to discuss my philosophy on life with you guys. So basically, my philosophy on life is that I feel like instead of going into certain situations with a negative paradigm, I think you should go in with indifference. And what I mean is instead of like going in like super negative, like maybe with like anger or hatred or like even sadness, you just go in and you're like whatever. You kind of go with like the flow, to say. And so, have you guys ever had an experience where like you were angry that you're like so angry, like perhaps you just like kind of shut down and like try to avoid that situation at all costs?
I guess I had a situation like that when I played the high school championship for rugby. It was states. I was captain of the team. It was my senior year, and I ended up going angry because me and the coach had a disagreement. And basically, what going in with a negative paradigm basically does to you is it shuts you down. It basically disassociates you from the situation and makes you unavailable to go and actually do what you want to do.
Exactly. So, if you had perhaps maybe just like even if you didn't agree with your coach, and let's just say you're like whatever, I'll just play the game of rugby for the game of rugby, and for me, do you think you would have perhaps performed better?
Yes, because we did end up losing the game, but I feel like if I would have just put the disagreement with the coach behind me, put the betterment of the team, and rather than just thinking about myself, in the end I feel like we wouldn't have been able to win because I just wasn't in my head throughout the whole game.
Sweet. Like I had a situation like 2 summers ago. My mom signed me up for this like week-long summer camp, and I really did not want to go. I wanted to like hang out with my friends, you know, do stuff at home. But instead, my mom signed me up, and I was really angry about it. So even though I was angry, I went. And like, early on, like the first couple of days of like this week-long camp, I was like still kind of upset. But eventually, I just said like, screw it, whatever. I'll just try to get out as much as I can from the experience. And at the end of the camp, I was like really, really happy, and like I made some friends that like I still talk to today. So I feel like next time if you guys have a situation where, you know, perhaps you're not really happy about like maybe you have like a class assignment like with a group, you know, if you may not like want to do the assignment, but if you just go in like indifferent, you're like, all right, I'll just put in like, you know, work, and then perhaps you actually learn something from it, and maybe at the end you even enjoy it.
I think that's a good philosophy because like you're basically it's standard. It makes sense. To the fact that you go into a situation with a negative outlook, it's mostly going to end up with a negative outcome. You know, positive outlook, it's a positive outcome, but in certain situations you have to go with a neutral outcome, not expecting anything, and just basically waiting for decisions to be made.
Exactly.
And basically your philosophy makes sense to the fact that it demonstrates normal life.
Yeah, it's just, instead of like automatically assuming to be negative, if you go in neutral and there's a positive, yay. If you go in neutral and there's a negative, you just don't do that situation ever again.
It's water under the bridge.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your time, guys.
You're welcome.